Um, crunch is the um, crunch is a production response to um, issues in the production pipeline, right? Effectively, what happens is games are complex multidisciplinary projects that are hard to scope out or plan around. Um, which is not really a problem is if there's no financial element to the equation. But there is a financial element to the equation. There's an amount of funding, or there's a funding party that has certain demands of the team or the company. Um, and to solve for that, developers overwork, and sometimes structurally overwork. Now, I don't think anybody in the games industry counts an occasional day of overwork as crunch, but structural overwork for a longer period of time is generally considered crunching. Um, for extended periods of time, it's called a death march, which is a completely separate terminology. But all of them effectively mean that um, people are working more than is healthy for them on a psychological or physical level. In AAA, the dynamic usually is imposed on people. So in AAA, what usually happens is effectively through a combination of manipulation and coercion, companies will basically make it borderline impossible to not overwork. Um, Obviously, there's a number of real economic realities attached to that. If the entire team doesn't get the thing done, then everybody's out of a job. Um, at the same time, obviously, this should not happen on a large scale production. So in AAA, it's usually imposed. In smaller teams, what you see is that it's usually self-imposed, as in the teams are all either aligned or all owners or friends, and so it's a little more insidious in that case instead of openly exploitative. In that a lot of people crunching are choosing to crunch of their own volition. Sadly, that doesn't not make it healthier or better. It's equally bad. It also creates an environment where if five out of the six people on a team are crunching, it's really hard for the sixth person to not be part of it. So there's an element of social pressure that gets added. So in AAA, I would think of it as more imposed, and in indie or smaller projects, I would see it as um, more of a social pressure kind of dynamic.